Typically on this podcast, we talk about strategies to grow your business, to build something that helps you live a life that you love. Today, we're changing things up a little bit because more and more I see women in a really difficult position, one that we haven't discussed before. What happens when you grow a business, you achieve the success that you set out to, you have a client base, you have sales, you have the funnels, you have the team, and then you realize you've actually built a trap for yourself. What if you find that the business you've worked so hard on has become something that takes joy away? It takes freedom away from you rather than giving you those very same things. Do you scrap it all and start again? Do you sell the business? Do you shut it down? Do you suffer through and continue on as always? Today we're talking about what to do if you are at this point that I'm talking about. And we also talk about how to prevent yourself from getting there in the first place. So let's dive in. Hello, I'm Susie Daphnis. I'm your host and I'm the CEO at Her Business, which is a fabulous community of women business owners. And today we're talking about the busy businesswoman's trap. So what is that? This is a situation many women business owners find themselves in a few years after building their business, where you've built something that you love, but it has slowly turned into something that you are working for, not the other way around. And you find yourself working longer hours than you know you should, than you know you want to. You're constantly trying to keep up with everything on your to-do list. Now, money's coming in, but you don't have enough time to enjoy it or even to analyze the finances to make sure that you're heading in the right direction. It's what happens when we have our heads down in work mode and only work mode. And maybe months go by, years go by, and we raise our heads and we look around and we say, this is not where I was meant to end up. That is you in the busy businesswoman's trap. And let me tell you, it's awfully easy to fall into. Now, you might be listening and raising your hand saying, yep, Susie, that is where I am right now. Please help me. Or you might be at the point where you don't realize that you might be heading towards that trap. Maybe you think you're managing along fine, not knowing that you might slowly be getting more and more off track from your desired dream destination. So let's stay on track. If you're on the right track, let's get you back on track if you're not, and let's right this ship. Firstly, I want to make a very important distinction, and that is between being in a growth phase and in a leverage phase in your business, because it matters which one you are working towards. Now, if growth alone is your North Star, the direction you want to go, you are probably focused on increasing specific activity or output. You're going for more clients, more sales, more revenue. And none of those things is bad. They are all, in fact, very necessary to your business's success. But in many cases, if you are zeroed in on grow, it can also look like working more hours, hiring more staff, offering more products and services, taking on more clients. And the result is you grow and grow and grow. Great. The more you put in, the more you get out. That's the ideal scene, right? And it's what everybody does, especially in the early stages of business. And it's exciting to see that pattern. The more effort I put in, the more results I get. Great. It's repeatable. It's a transaction. I give my business more. My business gives me more. It makes sense. And guess what else it is? It's also pretty damn unsustainable. Your business model and therefore your revenue streams in this type of growth depend on your ability to work more and more days, longer hours. And the same for your team. And if you're not strategic about how that growth is happening, it gets old really, really fast. You start to feel the toll. You become exhausted. You start feeling more and more like a workhorse pulling the cart where you built this whole thing to be riding high on that cart. Now, I want to show you an example, and this is something that happens frequently in all sorts of service-based businesses. So, say a freelance graphic designer doubles her income by doubling her clients. Initially, it feels like a major win, and it is, and I don't want to ever diminish that. Now her books are filled and her bank account is looking really good, but then what? She's doubled her workload. She's doubled the number of hours she works every week. Her free time starts taking a hit. She has to answer client emails while she's eating dinner. She has to reschedule that doctor's appointment again because her week is so jam-packed. She hasn't even considered taking a vacation this year because when? She's so booked and busy. Leverage in your business is different to being in this growth stage that I just described. Leverage is about looking at how do you multiply your results without multiplying your effort. Sounds pretty straightforward, right? What leverage is, when you are really in this, I'm looking to leverage myself in business, is that you're looking at the strategic use of things like systems, people, technology, your intellectual property, and more things like that that are going to give you more output with you putting in the same or less input. The way this cycle works is I put in this much and I get more out than I put in. This is what allows you to scale without burnout. And after years of only focusing on growing, many business owners end up in this spot. They start thinking, okay, there must be another way to do this. I'm working all the hours. I cannot work any harder. And if we go back to our graphic designer, she was chugging along, right? Working more and more for the corresponding output. But say she decides to turn her unique brand process into a digital course. And now she's teaching business owners how to do their branding themselves. Or she's teaching new graphic designers who are just starting out how to get started. And maybe she creates a membership that helps those newbies find their first clients. Now she can sell that membership all day, every day. She earns while she sleeps. She can start taking fewer clients herself, meaning she can work exclusively with the people she wants to work with, those who value her work. And there are so many ways to start leveraging your business. And it's not just about creating a course or membership, because I recognize very, very well that doesn't suit everyone's business. Maybe for you, it's automation tools for onboarding or marketing or taking appointments or recruitment. Maybe it's hiring a team or outsourcing strategically, something I'm encouraging women to do all the time. Maybe it's creating systems that reduce time and error. Maybe it's working on a subscription model. And growth often gets misunderstood to mean more effort in, more results out. Leverage means the same or less effort in and more results out. For me, it's the ideal scene. But it's not as easy, I realize, as I'm making it sound, but it is a mindset shift. It is going from thinking, how do I grow this business? Putting more of my body and my mind, my soul into it, versus how do I leverage myself in this business so that I can step into the CEO role? And they're two very different ways of thinking. And the most sustainable businesses kind of blend both of those. They grow by leveraging and putting more effort into what is going to give them more time, give them back their resources, and move them towards their goals. So before you start thinking, oh gosh, I really need to create a course or I really need a one-to-many option, you need to take that first essential step, and that is to look at what does success in business mean to you. For some women, success is having their schedule filled. For some women, it's simply doing what she loves and getting paid a salary, a wage, an income that she's happy with. Now, success for you might not mean having a booming course model or a membership or even growing a seven-figure business. And success is deeply personal. Its definition changes depending on who you ask, and its definition changes over time in business. And it's important to take the time to actually define that for you, especially before you find yourself in this busy businesswoman's trap. We can start to take on what success looks like by looking at our competitors, by looking at the sheroes out there, by looking at what other people are doing, by looking at our social media feed. And I encourage you to really hone in and decide what success means for you. And I believe that for most people, success really means some type of freedom. That is what I've found for sure working with tens of thousands of women business owners over the years. But the type of freedom, it really depends on you. Maybe that means time freedom for you. Now, what this is the ability to create your own schedule, how you like it. Now, time freedom gives you the ability to shut the laptop at 3 p.m. and go for that run if you want to, or to spend 3-day weekends with family, or to take a trip with your partner. Maybe it's keeping the mornings for yourself and starting work at noon each day. Doesn't that sound heavenly? Maybe you want to have a hard stop at 3 p.m. and you only want to work 4 days a week. You get to choose and you get to design that. Or maybe you want to be able to do that yoga class, answer emails, go to lunch, get a few hours of deep work in, and then head out for the day. And we forget that we are the business owner. We get to design how much we work and what days we work. We don't have to be all in the busy businesswoman's trap. And time freedom is about your ability to choose what your day, your week, your year is going to look like. That's why I always encourage women to look at the entire year and make sure they put in blocks of time where they are not working. Whether that's because they're on vacation, where maybe it's a staycation, maybe it's celebrating a milestone birthday of a friend, or whatever it is. One of the ways that I've introduced time freedom for me is that one week a month, I don't do client-facing work. I work on the business. I do more planning and thinking and strategizing. And that little bit of giving back to me has made such a big difference. It kind of takes the pressure off. And those weeks, those clear weeks for me, are so productive. And in fact, I'm going to put a link in the show notes to my clear week episode. Excuse me. So that's time freedom, but maybe what motivates you is money freedom. And I think everyone is motivated to some extent by financial freedom, otherwise why would you start your business? And we want the ability to pay our bills on time. We want to pay off our mortgage. We want to splurge on nice things and great dinners. You might want to buy that handbag that feels like it's been following you around on Instagram for years. And I want to say there's nothing wrong if you value money freedom the most, and that's why you started your business. I think we tend to associate that, wanting money, with motivation and greed, but we really need to let go of that because that thinking just puts limits on our ability to actually create financial freedom. It's an incredible feeling to be able to buy something without worrying about the price tag every once in a while. It's an incredible feeling to be able to buy something nice for yourself or someone you love. And there's definitely nothing wrong with wanting to pay your bills on time, to stash some money away for later, to buy an investment property. That's money freedom. Another freedom that might be important to you, that might define success for you, is location freedom. So maybe you are a free spirit, you love the idea of being able to work from anywhere. As long as you have a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection, you are happy. You want to travel the world and run your business at the same time. And I hear this one more and more inside the Her Business community, women saying, I want to be location free. I want to work from anywhere. Now, this is you not being tied down to a specific place by your business. So maybe this is your priority. And of course, with technology where it is today, this is so much easier to do than it was, even 5 years ago. That's location freedom. But there's one more freedom that often gets swept under the radar, and that is the freedom to just be, to have time to think, to live, to rest, to reset, to dream about the big picture, to get out of the weeds and the working, out of the business trap, and to just be. I think any business owner in the history of the world has felt like they always need to be on, constantly present, because we own this business. We have responsibilities to our team, to our clients. What a relief it is when we can just take time to step back, when we have the freedom to just be. So I wanted to give you those 4 types of freedom to think about, because if you are in the busy businesswoman's trap, if you are heading that way, getting clear on what success means to you, getting clear on the type of freedoms that are important to you. And so you might want to rank those. What do you desire most? Are you this free-spirited traveler who wants location freedom? Great. How do you design your business around that? Are you motivated more by time freedom to spend with those you love or spend with yourself? How do you prioritize that and design the business around that? Do you love the idea of being able to buy nice things without worrying about the price? Great, then financial freedom and knowing your numbers and building a profitable business might be where you need to be focused on. Or maybe what you want most right now in life is actually to step back, to just be for a while, to be able to reset, to think, to redesign, to reconnect with your heart's desire. So go ahead and just mentally rank these right now as I'm talking about it. And feel free to include any other type of freedom that matters most to you on your list. And the reason why this is so essential is that This is how you will define what your North Star is, the destination that is where you are happiest, the conditions that have you feel your very, very best. Because you want to get to where you can raise your head and realize that you're in the right direction, that you're not heading in a direction that you don't want. But what do you do if you have found yourself in a situation where you've walked down the wrong path? And I mean wrong in a very kind of loose way. But you find yourself in a place where you do feel a little bit trapped by your business. What do you think? Oh, crap. I've built this thing and I love it, but I feel trapped. I've created success and now I feel like a prisoner to it. Let's talk about some of the emotions and reactions that can happen when we get to this point. So we've identified the sort of freedom we want. We kind of have an idea of where we are right now. But how are we feeling? Let's talk about that. Firstly, being successful but always feeling trapped can have this strange mix of pride and panic because you're proud of what you've built, you're proud of the reputation you have and the results that you are getting with your clients, but there's also this complete panic of, I just can't keep doing this anymore. And this one hits me kind of hard because I am not a fan at all of the hustle culture, even though I've been a hustler for many, many years and worked my tail off. It just is a bit of a BS lie that we've been told that the harder we work, the more success we'll have. But we correlate being proud of being hard workers, and that might come from, family background, it might come from seeing things around us, and I did this for more than 20 years and I still do it some of the time. But when you get to the end of the day and you're bone tired and a piece of you thinks, yeah, I got a lot done today, but I feel terrible, then there's got to be a better way. What if we could feel happy with our work without working ourselves to the bone? So there's this sense of pride, but also this panic. Another feeling you might have is a feeling of isolation because everyone else sees you on this journey to success. You've got this great business and everyone is seeing the front of house. It all looks really, really good. But maybe while everyone sees your success, they don't know what that success is costing you, whether that's in bad health, mental exhaustion, burnout, stress, damaged relationships. And it can feel impossible to admit to anyone that you're struggling because the voice in the back of your head might be saying, you're being ungrateful. You've created this amazing business, you have a great income, you have an enviable position, and you are complaining? And that can be a really lonely place to be. That's where it's so important to have people around you who understand this journey, other business owners who are experiencing this very same thing, of feeling isolation in success. Now, another feeling, and I've definitely had this one, that you might have around your success but feeling trapped in the busy businesswoman trap is of resentment. Resentment for the time it takes to work on things, for the business itself, even resentful of clients that you might actually love, but they're taking so much of your time. Maybe you're even resenting yourself for creating the thing that you are now trapped in. And there's another fun feeling, which is guilt. It could be guilt for your success, feeling like you're making more money than your partner, your friends, your family, and you still want more. And so you can see how these feelings are not useful unless you can turn them around and re-choose and know that you are heading in a direction that you want and you are doing what it is that you want. And then there's fear. And fear is, what happens if I slow down? What happens if this success goes away? Who am I without this success? And I know I definitely had that experience. I had had an events business for 13 years. I was so tired and so worn out, but I thought, this is who I am. This is who I am in the world. If I get rid of this, or if I close it down, or if I sell it, who would I be? And this is such an essential topic to talk about because, of course, I am not my business and I have, it took me a little while, but I recreated my life. I've got this beautiful community of women business owners that I absolutely love, that I used to sort of have as a side project, and it's become my whole world. And I mean that in the best way, not in a trapped way. I get to do what I love every day. And maybe you're listening and you're saying, you know what, I'm feeling that now. I'm feeling trapped in all these ways and that I haven't created a world where I am doing the things that I love. And I never want to feel trapped. Or if I'm feeling trapped right now, I really want to feel the freedom that I want. And the good news is that not only can you prevent this trap from forming around you, you can change the circumstances you're in if you find yourself there right now. Success without freedom is a trap, and something we don't talk about enough. So how do you escape it? The very first thing is to pause. You are not your business. You need time to look inward. And I want you to think about what type of freedom was at the top of your list in the exercise we did earlier. And how does your business currently align with that freedom that you really want? Because maybe it's time to redefine what success and freedom mean to you and to reconnect with that. Maybe you've outgrown your original definition of what success is and not even realized it. And maybe once it was about earning as much as you could and proving yourself, and now it's about wanting more time, more energy, more joy, more space, and more choice. And I see that a lot, especially in the last 12 months. Women within the Her Business community have been expressing to me that they don't want to hack it, slay it, 10x it, grow. They want more space. They want to do less and earn more. They want that leverage type of business, not just the grow, grow, grow. And as I said earlier, it is kind of a balance. There's points in time where you're going to put the pedal to the metal. Is that the saying? You're going to put your foot down and you're going to go for growth in that more hours in, working hard, this is the opportunity. And other times it's going to be, okay, great, well, how do I do this in a leveraged way? How do I take what I'm doing now and actually make it easier for myself and free up my time? But making these big changes means that we need to pause, reevaluate, and really dream about what a freer life could look like for you. And then we start taking steps toward that vision. And there are so many ways to correct the course if you feel like you're a little bit off course. And it can start by shifting into that CEO role and starting to leverage yourself by delegating what drowns you, creating systems that help the business run without you being involved in every decision. It could be productizing your services. And what that means is creating a product out of your service. So say, for example, the graphic designer, she was doing one-on-one services, but then she created a leveraged program that is kind of productizing her services. You might want to move to being more strategic and having a freaking plan, not just doing whatever is at the top of your list every day, but actually having a plan for how business is going to change. And also think about your business model. What is your current business model? Should you start thinking about a recurring revenue model, or raising your prices, or having fewer services but charging more, or going from one-to-one to one-to-many, like the example we used earlier in this episode? Should you be setting better boundaries around your time, around your energy, or committing to a team to help you leverage, or making more profitable offers? I know I'm putting a whole lot of things on the table here for you, but I want you to just start thinking about this. If you are stuck in this busy businesswoman's trap, how do you get out? Is it leveraging with people? Is it leveraging with systems? Is it redesigning your business model? These are the things that we help women with all day, every day inside of the Her Business community. So you might have an offer that you sunset, meaning you just shut it down, something that's chewing up your time for little return. Or you might trial a new service, or you might automate a bunch of tasks, or you might start blocking off time each month to work on your business, like I do with my clear weeks. You do not have to wait until you are burnt out to make this change. Even if you're getting a little bit of a sense of, I think I'm just running on fumes, now is just time to start to make some of these changes. And the most important thing is to step back. And sometimes that is physically stepping back. That is why we run our retreats, where women can actually step away, like move away from the pain, move away from the chaos, move away from the day-to-day to reevaluate, to be honest with yourself. Because there's no shame in having gone in the wrong direction. We all do it. But what is admirable is to be courageous enough to say, I'm going to change this course. And so that we don't wake up a day in the future in that hustle and grind and feel depleted and detached from your purpose and thinking, I hate this business. Or ever reaching that point where you say, I am just too tired to even care, which is where I got to before I made a big change. There is always, always time to reconnect with what you want. And there is so much help for you to prevent it from happening in the first place. And one of the things that's going to be really important for you is to be in a community with other women business owners who face the same challenges, the same stresses, the same emotions. They feel the fear of losing their identity. They feel the isolation. They feel all the emotions I mentioned earlier. They feel the guilt. And I have seen women's spark come back alive when they tap into community and they reconnect with what they really want, those two things together. There's so much possible for you. You start having time that is truly yours. You start living a life that's by design. You're energized by a business that runs without you in every single detail and every single decision. And you build your confidence, you build your joy, you build your self-expression. And most importantly, you find your way to the freedoms that matter most to you. And you start living a life where you are doing what you love every day. Working with the clients you love, offering the products and services you love, working the days that you want to work, not working when you don't work. All those fun things. I would love to hear your thoughts about the busy businesswoman's trap and the steps that you might take to connect with your personal path to freedom. You can head over to our Her Business account on Instagram and just direct message me. I could talk about this topic forever, so let's continue this conversation. And this episode would not be complete if I didn't invite you, if you are not yet part of the Her Business Network, to join us. We are about community. We are about surrounding yourself with women who get it, who are going through the same experiences, and know that it's never a pity party, because that is not what I am. It is about empowering each other. It's about unlocking opportunities. It's about shifting our mindset. And if you go to herbusinessnetwork.com and the doors are closed, just join the wait list and I'll send you an invitation to join us privately when we have spaces available. The other thing I want to mention is talking about getting away and putting yourself in a new situation. I'm taking 10 women to the gorgeous island of Crete in Greece in October to do the work that we've just talked about today, to get connected. And it's for women who know they want more out of their life and their business, but they're just kind of stuck and not sure how to get there. And what we'll be doing over the 8 days in Crete is really unlocking the path to that, really designing what this new business and life and opportunities look like for you. And I will put a link to everything I've talked about here today over on our show notes page at herbusiness.com/310. But if right now you're like, okay, I want to learn more about Her Business Trailblazers in October, then just head to herbusinesstrailblazers.com and you'll see the information. But if you've forgotten the links I've given you, just go to herbusiness.com/310 and I'll put all that information there. Now, I want to give a shout out because I so appreciate you listening. I want you to know how much I enjoy putting this show together for you. And it makes such a big difference to someone who has a podcast to know, hey, people are listening. They're actually getting things out of it. And Amanda Paul is a longtime listener. She has a business called Brand Injection. She's one of our Her Business members. And she works with property developers, helping them generate more sales and more leads by helping them optimize their websites and their sales pages. Now, she listened to episode 300. That was one of our milestone episodes. We celebrated big time when we reached 300 episodes of the show. And she said episode 300 was a cracker. From mindset shifts around billable hours, how to think bigger and clarifying your goals, to knowing the difference between being self-employed or a business owner. She said, my favorite takeaway was own your stuff. Susie and her guests offer such inspirational advice from their own business experiences and from the heart. Well worth a listen. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that review, Amanda. And we will continue to bring new episodes that we hope that you will love. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, we would love it if you would leave us a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts, or you can shoot me a DM over on Instagram. You'll find us at Her Business on Instagram. If you're new to the show, be sure to subscribe wherever you are listening and join us in the next episode for more inspiring stories and lessons from successful female entrepreneurs. See you next week right here on the Her Business podcast. Bye for now.